My name is Joseph Lauletta, and I'd like to welcome you to my senior project presentation. Expanding on my research paper, the topic at hand is the music production process, and more specifically, my personal approach. In my paper, I discussed 4 very important roles. You got your Kaiser, your multigrain, I'm kidding. Since I do my musical work independently, I will fulfill all 4 of these roles in one sense or another. You will notice that some of the steps in my approach are very simplified. I owe this to my equally simple rig. As far as physical equipment goes, I have nothing but a pair of headphones, a pair of studio monitors, which are basically bulky speakers designed to project sound that's as accurate as possible. My guitar, of course, my bass guitar, and last but not least, my interface, which is essentially the bridge between the instrument and the computer. Now, my interface is called the Mackie Onyx Blackjack. In essence, an interface receives analog signal from the instrument's input, my playing, and it converts it to a digital form that the computer can understand and play back. Now, all of my work is typically done inside a program called Reaper, which is a digital audio workstation, or DAW for short. In addition to providing a workspace for recording and adjusting individual tracks, it acts as a host for digital plugins. Now, one very important plugin is one that emulates a guitar amplifier. Thanks to plugins of this sort, my guitars can sound just like they're being recorded out of a real amplifier. For the sake of demonstration, I've composed a brief song. I usually hit record and mess around a bit until I find a riff or a chordal progression that I deem good enough to continue building on, which is not often. While playing along to a metronome at a desired tempo, I can record a track that is accurate and synchronized to the beat. To get the best sound when recording guitars, it is imperative to double track. Double tracking is exactly what it sounds like. The same thing is recorded twice, with one track panned to the left and the other to the right. The subtle nuances and differences between each panned identical track create an impressive wall of sound effect, which creates the illusion that the sound is coming at you from all angles. Double tracking also allows for a clearer sound, allowing for more layers to be added before things start to sound cluttered. Now, once both guitars are successfully tracked and panned, I'll record the bass guitar in a similar fashion, and then program the drums using a program drum plugin and my trusty mouse. Believe it or not, technology has actually advanced so that bedroom musicians can add drums to their music without a physical kit. With all required instruments tracked to Reaper, I will then begin mixing the project, adjusting volume levels, moving tracks around so they don't sound sloppy in unison, and processing each and every instrument with a plethora of EQ and compression plugins. These functions allow the project to sound as professional as possible. As explained in my paper, mastering is the final step in the production process. Now, for me, this step is a piece of cake, as it's fairly simple and doesn't require much effort. It should be said, though, that mastering is rarely as simple as I'm making it out to be. Mastering is an art much like mixing, and those who do it professionally have developed their craft over time, much like a musician would with his instrument. The process for real masterers is often much more complex, which contributes to a more impressive sound. It's often encouraged for bedroom musicians, independent musicians, to send their finished mixes over to someone else for the master. Alright, so now that the song has been mixed, mastered, adjusted, processed, all the good stuff, it's time to play it back and see how it sounds. So as you can see, the music production process can be highly technical or something much less complex, depending on the gear that you have to use, how many people are involved, and many other variables. Despite the fact that it can be daunting, I find much enjoyment in gradually improving my production abilities, figuring out what sounds good and what doesn't. The learning curve can be a bit rough for those just starting out, as there are a lot of concepts and mechanics to digest, but once you're in the groove, you can make it groove. Thanks for watching.